welcome. Welcome, Mike Gentili. I tried to pronounce it the Italian way, but you are from the States, so they call you
Gentili.
But it's Gentili. Yep. You're our new wide receivers and tight end coach, and you just got here, right?
Yeah, about 4 weeks ago.
How do you like Vienna so far?
So far, it's been great. Yeah, it's a big city, lots to do, lots to see. I'm just starting to scratch the surface now.
Have you been here before?
Yeah, I was here in 2019 for a national team game, but I only stayed for like 4 or 5 days. So I didn't really get to do everything. Most of the touristy stuff, though, which was cool.
Now you get to explore the real Vienna if you have time next to
real.
Coaching and being on duty for the Vikings. Before coming here, and I know this is it's going to be a long answer. What was your journey in football? What did you do so far?
Oh, geez. All right. So I started playing when I was 8, played through high school and college, bounced around to a couple of different colleges before it was cool. And then after I graduated, I started working a corporate job for a couple of years. And then in 2017, I just sort of decided that, I don't really want to do this anymore. I miss football. I miss traveling. And I pretty much sold everything I owned, started calling teams. I got a workout with a team in Rome, flew over there, and started playing football in Europe at 29.
Do you have a dual citizenship?
Yep.
So you have an
Italian passport and American passport.
Very cool.
I played 2 years in Rome. And then I went to Germany. Played for the Schwäbisch Hall Unicorns, then went to Finland, Sweden, played a game in Bosnia, played in Spain, back to Finland, went and was coaching a team in southern Italy, a 3rd division Italian team, then went to Innsbruck for a year, then back to Germany for about 3 years, and then Italy last year, and then
that sounds like 20 years.
Yeah, it's been a bit. It's been
a few years. Wow. Yeah. How's your German coming along? You played in Austria before in German.
Going kind of Deutsch.
No German. But at least you got Italian.
Yeah, a little bit.
So wow, that's a very crazy journey you've had. At what point did you decide you also wanted to go into coaching and not just playing?
So I had done a little bit of coaching when I was in college, actually. I took a year off of school for family reasons, and I was coaching my high school football team. Really fell in love with that. Had kind of been doing a little bit of coaching on the side here and there, mostly for like youth teams, for the teams I was playing for. And then in 2021, the opportunity came up to be the head coach of a 3rd division team in Italy, in Calabria. So I jumped all over that.
Who would say no to living in Italy?
Right? Exactly. So I went and I did that for a little bit. And then while I was there, I actually got a call from the Raiders as they were starting their ELF journey a couple years ago. I had the opportunity to coach the ELF, play the AFL. So I was like, that sounds pretty cool,
That's a lot, though. Double duty.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a real lot. But I'm glad I did it because it opened up a whole new world of coaching for me, right? I learned how to be a professional football coach, not just like putting guys through drills.
Not a player turned coach, but an actual coach.
An actual professional football coach. And that really opened it up for me. And then like having great mentors and being around guys who are great coaches that had a big impact on me, big impact on the guys around me. That was huge. And I really always saw myself as being able to do that and wanting to do that. So when the opportunities come up, I just try to take them.
And this is your first year just coaching, right?
Yeah.
How does that feel, not being on the field anymore?
I thought it would be weirder than it is, but I think I was ready. I was ready to hang up the cleats. And it just gives me so much more time to just focus on X's and O's stuff and organizational stuff and like really getting into the professional side of coaching.
What ultimately made you decide to join the Vienna Vikings? You've seen many, many organizations. Did you have any prior connections with coaches or players here, or was it just the city that was so intriguing?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So Coach Newman and I have known each other for a long time. when he initially got the job here, he called me up and asked me to come. And honestly, at first I was like, I don't know. I just retired. Like, I wanted to take a couple years off of football, pursue some other career paths. But for one reason or another, some of those things didn't work out. And I was sort of like, every night when I would go to sleep, I'd be thinking about football. And I was like, all right, this is probably a sign. Maybe I should call Coach Newman back up. And we started having more conversations. Um, I was able to get on the phone a couple of times with Coach Kalaikai, and to be able to learn from two guys like that is an opportunity that I think a couple years down the road I'd be kicking myself in the ass if I missed it. And then there's a good handful of guys on the team that I know. Kari, I played with him in Finland
Oh, wow.
twice. Yannick Meyer, Philip Hound, I coached them in Tyrol. Alex Milanovic and Lucky, I know them from my time in Bosnia. So there's a lot of guys I've either played with, coached, or our paths have crossed at some point. You spend enough time around Europe, you get to meet a lot of guys.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And what were your first impressions when you got here of Vienna, the city, the organization, and also the team and the people you didn't know before?
Yeah. Just a top-notch organization. So like I'll start with the organization. It's so cool to be in a place with so many people that are rowing the boat in the same direction. And like it's not as common as you might think around Europe. So it's really great to be somewhere where everybody's got the same goal, everybody's working towards the same thing, and everybody's got a good attitude all the time, which has also been like awesome. The city's beautiful. Like there's so many things to do. There's so many places to eat. And it's way easier to get around than I was expecting. Like
Public transport.
super easy. Super easy.
That's true. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a big plus for Vienna
Yeah.
always. Especially coming from the States. I mean, you've seen a lot of
Yeah.
European cities, but people don't understand in the first moment that public transport
Yeah.
is amazing.
It's great.
And
Yeah.
you probably live somewhere close to the field. You don't have
Yeah.
a long journey to get to work. So that's a big plus for Vienna for
Yeah.
sure.
Definitely.
Did anything immediately stand out to you in terms of like mindset or talent maybe in
Yeah.
your
No, definitely. I mean,
squad?
like for the most part in my experiences around Europe, there's been like some talent discrepancy, or there's like teams will have a really good starting 11, or maybe 8 or 9 of the guys that are starting are like really good players, and there's some guys who are still coming up to speed just by nature of football in Europe. Like there's not a ton of places where there's super experienced guys. We got 65 players on roster, and every single one of them is a baller. Like every single
Hell
one.
yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. This is a level that I personally haven't seen in Europe before. So I'm super, super excited to see how things look like when things get real.
Yeah, you and everyone else
Yeah.
right now seems to be really buzzing about the
Yeah.
coming year. A lot of changes, but a lot of opportunities too.
Yeah, definitely.
How does this team, well, I mean, the answer you already gave, but how in other ways does this team compare to the teams you've worked with?
So far, one of the things that I've been the most impressed with is how fast at least I can really only speak to the receiver group so far, and offense, I guess, as a whole, but guys are able to take feedback and make changes so quickly. Like there will be things that we talk about in meetings before practice, like for instance, watching a play, like, all right, your steps here have got to be XYZ instead of ABC. And you come out and you see the guy fix it immediately and doesn't make that mistake again. And that's kind of a theme that I've seen across the whole offense so far, that it's been like, all right, like learning curve is going to be a little bit shorter than anticipated, and we're going to be able to get more stuff done.
Do you think that has something to do with the way the Vikings build their players from
Definitely.
youth
Definitely.
football on?
Yeah, I think there's a culture of like high football IQ, and that all starts with right when these kids are 14, 15 years old.
Even smaller,
being able to like be on the field a couple times a week, be in meetings a couple times a week. Like, I mean, there's other countries where kids don't even start playing until like they're 18, 19, and they might not see themselves filmed in practice in their career. So it
Mm,
makes a huge difference.
definitely. And as a new coach here, how are you going to go about building trust and rapport with your players in your receiver and tight end squad
Yeah.
mainly?
So when I think about that, I think about a quote that I heard. Geez, I was probably like in high school, but it's no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. So I think the first thing is like making sure that these guys understand that, right? I care about them, not just on game day, not just in practice, not just when they're in the football facility, but like as guys, as people, as friends. Um, and I'm very fortunate that like I already have pretty good relationships with the guys that I've coached in Innsbruck. So I'm hoping that like that builds a little bit of initial credibility and just being able to do everything I can to help the guys out on and off the field, like be able to answer questions, be there when they need to talk about whatever, whether it be football stuff, non-football stuff, and just really try to build that core relationship first. And then from there, everything you say has more credibility. So if I need them to run through a wall, I'd be like, hey guys, I do it for you. You got to do it for me. Here we go.
So the culture you're aiming to establish is more of a really close friendshipy thing, but also I'm your coach, take my advice. It's a
Yeah.
thin line, I
Yeah,
guess.
of course. Of course. Yeah. I think the culture within the group that I want to build is right of doing whatever we can for each other, accountability. And then it's also going to be, we're going to be heavily based on toughness too. Cause at the end of the day, like you've got to be tough to play the sport. You know?
Absolutely. What stands out to you about the potential of Austrian players in particular when you've seen
Hmm.
players all over Europe?
I think Austrian guys are very unique. And I've been saying this since 22, my first experience with Austrian guys. Like I think they have the highest football IQ across Europe. Um, for the most part, like super humble players. So they understand what it takes to get better because like becoming a good football player at this level doesn't happen by accident and it doesn't happen overnight. It takes a long, long time of doing the right things on the field, in the weight room, in the film room, taking care of yourself. So, in my experience, a lot of these guys have done that and understand what it takes to be successful. So, they kind of bring that with them at all times. And like that humility to be able to put in the work and do the right things is awesome. Such a great tool for these guys to have.
And you just mentioned 2022 when you were working with the Raiders, and you brought some guys with you from the Raiders. That relationship, that level, are you going to get there with the other players too? How hard is it
I
to be
hope
like, those
so.
are my old buddies, but
Yeah.
now I got the new
No,
buddies? How is
absolutely.
it?
I hope so. I mean, like it's my goal to develop great relationships with everybody on the team, honestly. Like not just the receivers and the tight ends, but the whole offense, the whole defense, the special teams, all the coaches, everyone in the organization. Because I think it makes such a difference when like you can look at anybody in a particular situation and just be like, I know that we are working as hard as we can towards the same goal right now.
And you're also going to be working with our new superstar signing Bernhard
Yeah.
Seikowitz at the tight end position, who has had experience at NFL level for the past couple of years. What has it been like for you in the past couple of weeks to coach a player with that background?
Psycho's been awesome. So right, obviously it's uncommon, but it's not very rare for European guys to go get North American experience. And from what I've seen and the guys that I've worked with, they come back in a couple of different ways. They either come back a little disappointed and like, oh, I've got to be back in Europe playing football. And, I wish I was in the NFL. I wish I was doing this. Or they come back with a great attitude. Like, I'm so excited to play. I'm so excited to bring the knowledge that I have to my teammates. I'm so excited to go play in games. I'm so excited to go do this. And like, that's how Psycho came
Hmm.
back. And it's just been
Amazing.
awesome. Yeah. Like, of course, he's an incredibly talented guy, but he's got a great attitude. He's asking good questions. He's trying to get better every time. He's making sure that like his talent fits into the scheme, and we're not trying to fit the scheme into his talent. Like he just wants to do what he can for the team, and it's awesome all the time.
So his experience influences the rest of the group in a very positive way, and
Definitely.
that's exactly how you want that to be.
Yeah. Right. He can show guys what professionalism looks like, right? He's seen it at the highest level. He's seen what some of the best football players on earth do on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, he was talking about Zach Ertz when he was on the podcast,
Exactly.
for example, and how his attitude really shaped him as well, and
Yeah.
now he can pass that on to others.
Yeah. So like when we've got younger kids who are looking at like, okay, what does it mean to be a professional? He can be like, well,
That's it.
this is what the guys in the NFL are doing. So
Amazing.
yeah.
What would for you personally define a successful season this upcoming year?
I mean, I think for sure it's got to be a championship, right? But I also think we've got to be able to break things down into different success metrics, right? Obviously, right, we want to go 1-0 every week. We want to win a championship. But to me, it's also going to be about like, what type of team are we? What type of team do we start with? What type of team do we grow into? And then what type of team do we finish as? Right. And if that cohesive unit can continue to get closer and closer, like by the end of the season, like those win goals are going to take care of themselves. Like if we're doing the things to become a closer knit team and everybody's again like rowing the boat in the same direction and doing all the right things and being selfless on a day-to-day basis, then right, those objective goals of winning games, winning championships, going
Just come
1-0,
with
it
it.
just
Yeah.
happens, right? Everything just falls into place.
Do you have anything, or do you do anything in particular with your group or your squad, team building wise? Is there anything where you're like, oh, this is our ritual? This is,
Uh,
or do you want to start anything with them?
TBD yet. We'll probably have some game day stuff. We're actually going to go bowling on Thursday as a group, so I'm super excited for that. Get to know the guys a little bit better. Um, yeah, DJ just got here, our American receiver. So like just getting everybody together and sort of having some non-football time to hang out and get to know
Mhm.
each other. I'm super excited for that. And then yeah, I've got some ideas for game
Okay,
day
cool, cool.
stuff.
Well, down the road, you'll have to tell us.
Definitely.
How would you describe your coaching style? Are you more of like a calm person, or are you also someone who brings high energy and sometimes gets loud?
Oh, for sure. I get loud. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very high energy. But I think it's I would say like a balancing act, but it's really like, what does the situation call for? Right? Is there a time when it needs to be a calm teaching moment? Is there a time where it needs to be high energy? And then, the whole spectrum of everything in between and on both sides of that. Like, I think at its core, coaching is teaching. So you have to be a
Yeah.
good teacher, right? It doesn't matter what I understand and what I can do. I've got to be able to explain it in a way, individually teach one of these guys that they get and they understand. And I think a big part of that is understanding how your players learn, right? Because everybody doesn't learn the same.
Mhm.
And then once you get that, then it's really important to be able to kind of tailor your message to each guy, how he learns, and then really make sure everybody understands how they fit into the scheme as a whole.
And you're about to find that out in the
Yeah.
next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Um, how long do you have to first game? Only a couple of weeks. What are you looking most forward to now? Come
I'm
that
so
first game.
excited to see what the atmosphere is like for home games here. I mean, I've been on the opposite side of it, and it wasn't fun to come in here as a visiting coach, especially at the games at Generali. That was hostile, to
When you
say the
were with
least.
the
Yep,
Raiders? Mhm.
yep. So I'm really excited to see what it's like to be here for a year, home games week after week, right? Um, Hopefully get to know some Vikings fans and really just get to experience like a full season of Vikings football here in Vienna.
Is there anything from your past as a coach, a moment where another coach um influenced you a lot that you're like, okay, and that's what I'll remember. Before that first season game, I'll go back to my,
Yeah, I mean, there's been countless times.
It's hard to pick when you've had a career like you, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I've been super fortunate to play for and work with some guys that I consider some of the best coaches in Europe. The two that stick out the most that I feel like I've learned some of the most valuable lessons for Coach Newman, and then Kyle Callahan, who I worked with in Innsbruck, who's coaching in Munich now. Just the way that each of them approaches the game, the way that they call plays, the way that they get their teams prepared, right? They're two very different types of coaches, but I see a lot of the approach that I have now as kind of a little bit of each of them. So it was really cool to get those experiences with those guys and then do my best to try to put it forward.
I think every time a new coach and player comes in, and the fans are super excited to watch them on game day and see how they operate on the field. Do you have a message for the Vikings fans listening right now?
I'm excited to meet fans, and I'm really, really looking forward to the caliber of product that we put on the field this year, and I think you all should be too.
And also talking about game days and fans, we love to see everything in Vikings colors. And I asked you before the episode, what's your favorite merch item that the Vikings?
The bucket hat.
The bucket hat.
Bucket hat.
Which is why for this episode we decided to give away a Vikings bucket hat in the color of whoever wins is choosing. For that, we need to ask a question that people can answer so they can win. And that question is,
how many teams have I played for around Europe, and what teams were they?
That's going to be a long answer. You either go back to the beginning of this episode and grab a pen and take notes, or maybe the internet will tell you the answers. And if you have it, please send it to podcast@viennavikings.com. And in the next episode, we'll draw a winner. We also had a little giveaway last time. We had the GM of the Vienna Capitals ice hockey team.
Ooh.
Are you an ice hockey fan?
I am, yeah. I played ice hockey growing up.
Oh, wow, yeah. Well, we have a really cool ice hockey team, the Vienna Capitals,
So I've heard.
Who just wrapped up their season, but I think you'll still be in Vienna when they start their new season next year. So you can go watch some games.
Yeah.
And they also have a collaboration with the Austrian military.
Okay.
Which is why in the last episode, we did a giveaway for this Vienna Capitals military hoodie.
Nice.
And this beanie, little fan package, just like the Vikings have their military merch. And the people who answered the question are in this little pot, and you can choose a winner.
All right, we've got Victoria Sauerland.
Great pronunciation. Working on that.
I was worried about it.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
And now, before we wrap this up, Vienna. It's your first time actually experiencing it. What do you look most forward to in this city?
The sun coming out. Ideally,
summer's gonna come. Don't you worry.
Honestly, spending time outside, like doing like everyone that I talk to, I'm like, hey, what should I do here? Right? What are some of the things that I should experience? Like, so spring and summertime are great. Like, get outside, do a picnic, go to some of the parks. So that's some of the stuff I'm really excited about. I'm a big outdoors guy.
Golfer, maybe?
Yes.
Oh, that's a good point. We got the charity golf coming up. I think May 1st. People can still sign up for it. Are you going to be golfing?
Yes, I will. Looking forward to it.
Ooh. You sound very confident. Like maybe you have.
I'm gonna do my best.
maybe we got a new name on top this year.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what type of day it is. I mean,
also a really good opportunity to meet some of the Vikings fans.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
So lots of cool things to come. We are so excited for the game days, obviously, and to see you in action. And as you said before, you would love to meet the fans. So I think everyone can always come up to you and chat with you. And yeah, great season ahead.
Yep.
All the best for you and your squad.
Thanks.
And let's hope for a lot of touchdowns.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks.
Vienna Calling. Move it! Jump, jump.